For our first story, we have How can I, 31 female, better support my gay husband, 31 male, who doesn't want his family to abandon him? My husband, 31 male, and I, 31 female, have been married for 6 years now. My childhood wasn't exactly pleasant. There was a lot of violence, traumatic experiences, and substance abuse. All those things left pretty deep scars, including a fear of any kind of physical intimacy or relationship. My husband, on the other hand, grew up in a very strict and conservative home, and his parents have always demanded a lot from him. I was bullied a lot at school, and I didn't really have friends until I met my husband at high school when we had to do a project together. He was a popular guy, and I kind of expected him to be a jerk, but he was actually very nice. We became friends, and eventually he trusted me enough to tell me his biggest secret. He was gay. I didn't have any kind of problem with that, but he told me that his parents and other family members would disown him if he ever told them the truth. They'd made it very clear how they felt about those people, and his mother had even said once that she would be nothing but ashamed if any of her kids ever turned out to be that kind of thing. So, after receiving a lot of pressure from his parents, my husband asked if I could pretend to be his girlfriend and drop by a few times so they would get off his back. I agreed, but things kind of escalated from there. My husband loves his parents and siblings very much, and despite their attitude, he doesn't want to lose them. I've told him I didn't have any interest in physical intimacy or relationships, so he asked if I could consider marrying him. He's my best friend and I love spending time with him, so after many long conversations I agreed. It actually wasn't a bad solution. We live together, but we have separate bedrooms and he's free to date whoever he wants. He's not comfortable openly dating men, so it's mostly during business trips. I feel bad for him for having to hide a part of himself from his family, but he's made it clear he's not going to tell them. I guess my question is, how can I better support him? We're friends and he knows he can talk to me about anything, but I feel I'm not doing enough. That's the end of our first post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, "It sounds like you were already truly supporting him by being his wife. It also sounds like he supports your desire for companionship without any physical intimacy. Honestly, it seems the two of you have found the perfect solution that works for both of you, at least for now. I'm sorry he has to live in secret, and your support is probably invaluable to him." Our second commenter says, "You married him and you're keeping up the pretext of being his opposite-sex spouse. That's already above and beyond what even the best friend in the world would do. It's unfortunate that his family is so intolerant, but if he believes the best way to manage is to stay in the closet, presumably until they pass away, then just helping him keep his secret is about the best you can do. But if your own childhood independent of him still plays on your mind, you should absolutely get into some talk therapy to deal with that." Our third commenter says, "If you're both happy and you have a stable, loving marriage that just doesn't involve romance and sex but are both content with that, it sounds like a win. It's a sad thing that he has to live in the closet and that you have been traumatized to the point of not wanting physical intimacy, but it sounds like you genuinely love and respect each other, which TBH, it's better than a lot of couples. Families are put together in many different ways and you two are a family. It does sound like both of you could use some therapy to heal a bit if ever feel ready to address the trauma. People act like it's a magic cure-all, which it's not. It takes a lot of hard work and soul-searching, but is very much worth it. Both of the wounded children inside of you deserve a chance to heal." For our second story, we have Update. I, 26 female, have been giving gifts to my boyfriend, 29 male, S family at many celebrations, without anything in return. Do I continue? Original. Link, advice, comments. 1GZTD76. I, 26F, have been giving gifts to my boyfriend, 29 milliseconds, link. TLDR of my original post is that I have gifted my boyfriend's family, his sister, his mom, his sister's kid, gifts on 10 occasions this year, probably spent $800 total, but haven't received anything in return, and was wondering if I should switch to doing joint gifts with my boyfriend. Some commenters suggested that I was not being appreciative of being invited to family events, so I thought that maybe I was being too harsh. Well, with Christmas coming up, I, 26 female, was invited to Christmas with my boyfriend, 29 male, S family, but given his sister, 28 female, Just had her second child with some health complications. We had a conversation and decided it made sense for me not to join them as I've been flying a lot for work and don't want to put the newborn at risk. That made the conversation about doing joint gifts super easy with my boyfriend, since I physically wouldn't be there. Out of the blue yesterday though, I received a text from my boyfriend's sister, reminding me of their house address to ship gifts to, even though I've driven there multiple times. Then, about an hour later, I receive a text from my boyfriend's mother telling me about how the sister's daughter, toddler, has been a little upset recently given the new baby, and that it would be great to get the toddler an extra gift to make her feel special, since the attention has been on the newborn, on top of whatever I was planning to get the newborn. She did top it off with a, "You always give such nice gifts," as a nice compliment. For context, I grew up in a family that taught me not to buy gifts that you wouldn't want to receive. I bought very nice things for boyfriend's sister's kids for her daughter's birthday, toys plus nice name brand clothing like Nike, North Face, and the latest baby shower for the newborn. I brought this to the attention of my boyfriend, and he mentioned he'd let them know that he was bringing our gifts, but I have a feeling they'll misinterpret to think that we're still getting separate gifts. We will see how it goes next week, but I've been super put off by the texts that I've gotten from his family. It seems pretty blatant that they want gifts from me and are expecting it, but I'm glad that my boyfriend is planning to take care of the communications. That's the end of our second post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, that crazy entitlement. Clearly you give great gifts and they want more. But asking for gifts like that is very off-putting. I don't blame you for feeling that way. From now on, only give joint gifts with your BF. Nip this in the bud now. Our second commenter says, text back, "Oh yeah. Thanks for the reminder. Here's mine." Our third commenter says, "Who the hells takes gifts but doesn't give?" To the point where they call you for the gift. Also, people saying being invited is the gift are takers. They don't give gifts. So don't listen to their advice. What kind of cheap-ass family are you dealing with? You sure you want to be married into this type of family? For our last story, we have Mike, 28 female, partner, 33 non-binary, got me an expensive gift that is not really what I wanted. Do I ask them to return it? So, I collect various things and have had a bucket list of things I want. These are all expensive, typically hard to come by. Think fine art pieces, some $200, some $1,000s. As a gift, they got me something that was sort of on my bucket list but a reproduction. It looks different than the real thing, feels different, and ultimately is not the teen. I don't want to come off as an ingrate, but I know the reproduction cost hundreds of dollars and it was clearly a thoughtful attempt to get what I wanted but just missed the mark. Do I suck it up and pretend to love it or just ask for it to be returned? That's the end of our last post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, "I'm struggling with your description here. Fine art pieces for $200? That someone is copying but looks and feels different from the real thing? I really want to know what the gift is." Our second commenter says, I had something sort of similar with my partner. I'd been hunting for a specific designer purse, secondhand, and they bought me one for my birthday. Which was thoughtful, except it wasn't the size I wanted, too big, wasn't a style that was very useful to me, and also was a knockoff. I didn't want to be ungrateful, but I did sit him down and tell him that I probably wouldn't have much use for the bag for the reasons above. Once I explained it, he understood and wasn't mad, and I do use the bag every now and then. I feel bad getting rid of it. I think it's worth bringing up that, hey, I really appreciate this, but I am really into this hobby and XYZ is what I look for in these collectibles. I know you might not understand, but this isn't something that I would have picked out. And see how they respond? I don't know. Our third commenter says, I feel like this depends on what the item is. That's all for today. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.